So now that we've talked about how we get our data to AWS and how we process it, we're now going to talk about how you actually analyze the data that you have within AWS. And so we're going to be talking about several services. First of all, we're going to be talking about Amazon Athena, which this is a service that lets you query data not stored in a database, but actually stored in Amazon S3. Then we're going to look at Amazon QuickSight, which is AWS's BI tool that gives you interactive dashboards. And then we'll be talking about Amazon Cloud Search. And this is a search service that can be used for custom applications. So let's dive in and look at these. So first of all, we have Athena. And this is a fully managed serverless service. So you don't have to configure any of the underlying infrastructure. You can simply leverage the service. And the great thing about Athena is it does enable you to query large-scale data stored within Amazon S3. So if you're taking more of what we would call a data lake approach and your company is just dropping a bunch of data within Amazon S3, now there are formats that you can store it to make this process more efficient. But as long as you have that data there and you want to run a query to determine your sales year over year, you could do that utilizing Amazon Athena. You also can write queries just using standard SQL. So this becomes advantageous for people that are used to working within databases. They can take that exact knowledge and use it to then query this data stored within S3. Now with Athena, you are charged based on the data that you have scanned for a query. So depending on the amount of data that it needs to search through, that's how you are charged for Athena. So next, let's talk about Amazon QuickSight. And this is a fully managed business intelligence, or sometimes you'll hear it called BI service. And this enables some dynamic data dashboards that are based on data that you have stored within AWS. Now there are a couple of different pricing models depending on how you're leveraging it. So we do have a per user and a per session pricing model. And it depends on how you're using it, how many authors you need versus how many people that are just reading the data. And there are multiple versions provided based on your needs. So like a standard version versus an enterprise version, and they have different capabilities and different cost points. And so you could dive into the documentation and see which of those fits your specific needs. So here you can see an example from QuickSight. Now, this is using a sample data set that you can load into the platform once you have an account. And this gives you the view of an author who's able to go in and actually create new visualizations based on data that you have stored within AWS. Now, next, we're going to look at Amazon Cloud Search. And this is a fully managed search service on AWS. So in some cases, you want to go through and analyze data in dashboards like we were talking about with QuickSight. Or in some cases, you might want to run through a bunch of large-scale data like we have with Athena. But maybe you want to build a custom application and make a lot of data available to your users. And this is where Cloud Search can be very beneficial. The great thing is it does support scaling of search infrastructure to meet your demand. So you can trust that this is a service that can scale for you. Now you are charged per hour and instance type of your search infrastructure. So this is where you need to know what size of an instance you need to have, and then you will be charged based on that. Now it does enable developers to integrate search into their custom applications. That's the goal of this service. So if you want to be able to have users search through a ton of PDF documents that your organization has stored or other custom information, this becomes a great resource to plug into.